Get started here. Philadelphia Union head coach Jim Curtin's weekly press conference. As always, we'll have Jim begin with an opening statement and then we'll open the floor for questions. Jim, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, just to reflect back on Salt Lake, obviously a good run of games comes to an end. Disappointing in that we didn't really give them our best. I don't think we were at our sharpest with the ball. Defensively, we were very individual all over the field. We lost a lot of 1v1 duels and came out on the wrong end of a result. Having said that, we did have a couple chances at early stages of that game to punish them. You think of when Chris got in behind, took it off his chest and kind of got held up. The 2v1 with Ilsinho, if we get that play right, could we get something out of the game? Fafa's opportunity that they pull off the line. So not taking our chances, not being efficient in the final third, especially on the road and at altitude in a tough place to play. And not being our sharpest, resulted in a 1-0 defeat. So disappointing from that standpoint, but needs to be said, we have tightened things up in terms of defending over the past several games. Done a good job in that regard, got a lot of points in a short amount of time, which is a positive. We look forward now to, before a little bit of a break, to ending things strong against a very dangerous NYCFC team. Obviously, we saw today, put the group through a good training exercise where Bethlehem kind of represented a New York City team and how they like to build out of the back. No secret to that. Patrick likes to play a real possession-based game. We had our field shrunk to the dimensions of Yankee Stadium, which is significantly smaller than our field. You can see by the markings, but good exercise, I thought, overall in preparation for what will be a very difficult game against NYCFC this weekend.
Questions for Mark and Jim.
Jim, how about your thoughts on Harris being able to play Saturday and
Yeah.
wanting to play, telling his federation that he wanted to play before joining?
Yeah, Harris is a great professional. He really will do anything for the Philadelphia Union badge. He's a guy that has really led our group through this good stretch of games. Has been a guy that now, not just because of the goals or the assists, but also the little things off the field, keeping the group together. He's a big part of this team, and the leadership that he shows in wanting to play for us. Obviously, we'll comply with the FIFA dates and I'll release him at the appropriate time. But he really wants to be part of the game against NYCFC, and obviously we're more than excited to have him on the field for us in what will be a difficult game. So yeah, Harris, I can't say enough about. Again, true professional. Again, if you were to talk about a guy that you want young players to emulate, look up to for all the things he does on the field and off, a true professional.
Sure.
Jim, is there any big update on Josh Yarrow? What's progressing?
Yeah, Josh is cleared to play. He went through today's exercise pain-free, looked really good. Again, whether it's with Bethlehem this weekend or with the first team, still to be determined. We'll see how we got through today, where guys are at with little different injuries. But overall, really happy with how quickly he's progressed and how good a job that our medical staff and doctors did on the surgery. So again, when I say clear to play, there's still some writing on paperwork and that kind of thing, but that needs to go on with the league. But he'll be available for selection one way or the other this weekend to get his first minutes, and we miss him, and he's a big piece of the future of the Philadelphia Union.
Jim, when we were talking to Harris earlier, we got on the topic of Giovinco. Lance, you're not getting a call from Italy, and the national team coach saying that MLS isn't good enough for them. Harris mentioned Lawrence Simon playing for Belgium, who's in their group right now. I mean, what do you think about that idea of MLS and international calls for guys in Italy?
I think it's going to take time. I still think there is still a part of the world that maybe looks down a little bit on MLS, but as quality players like Harris, like Simon, like Giovinco come here in their primes, in the big part of their careers, and they go back and they speak about what the league's like. When Barnetta goes back and talks about the league, these guys have a lot of equity, in what they've done in their career, so people listen when they speak. So there's still going to be doubters, and that part is going to take time. I think it's been accelerated now with how quickly younger players are coming here. You think of Atlanta and what they've done. Almiron coming over in the prime of his career for big money. They also will look at the salaries, and they're seeing that those are going up. So all these things will accelerate how people perceive the league. I think overall in the world, it's going up quick. Even in England, you'll hear different guys make comments that it's on TV more over there now. When you hear scouts that come over here, they say, "Man, your league is on TV a lot more, and it's getting a lot more exposure, and people are taking it a lot more serious." So it's happening right now. I think we're in that phase. Are there still going to be naysayers and the Euro snobs that don't respect it? Yeah, that's part of it. I'll talk about David Villa, a guy who we'll run into this weekend, who does nothing but endorse the league publicly. Is a guy that is probably our league's best player ever to play in the league, and I look at it as a guy who plays every minute, whatever the coach needs him. He's never injured. He's a true professional, and he speaks highly of the league. So you could go on and on through each team in the league now, and on every roster there's a great European player, a great South American player that plays in this league and goes, wow, there's quality here. It's getting better. The stadiums, the atmosphere, the way we travel, the hotels we stay in, it's all the bars getting raised in all those areas, and it spreads quickly through the soccer world. And I think this country is really improving much more. The league has improved in ways that I didn't expect would happen in my lifetime, how quickly it's gone on. So yeah, that would be when Harris talks about it to his teammates when he goes back to Bosnia, it spreads more and more, and it's really spreading quickly is the best way I can put it. It's a rapid rise right now. If it was a stock, I'd invest.
Jim, you talked about Marcus Epps getting his first action, what you saw out of him, what you've seen in his progress.
Yeah, really happy for Marcus. Again, told him to go out on the field and be fearless, and he did that. It's a short amount of time, but it's still a debut, and debuts are special for players. It's the first time he stepped on the field in a pro game for the Philadelphia Union, and he made 2 or 3 plays and got to the end line and was dangerous. So happy with him. Again today, getting to the end line, creating chances against Bethlehem. Set up a goal and was really dangerous on the day. Scored a good goal as well. So happy with him. He has a ton of potential. He's a guy we're really high on for the future. And with an injury to Fabian now, he has an opportunity to step in and perform. And he's done that. And I think it's only going to be more and more minutes the way he's playing. So that's a real positive. You want to give young guys an opportunity, but they also have to take it. And I think Marcus did a great job in his first minutes. And he continues to do it each and every day in training, because that's where it starts. A lot of these guys, the Derek Joneses, the Jack Elliott's, you could go through a list of a lot of different names. They do it because they've done it in training, and they've really worked hard in that aspect in the two-a-days, worked on their fitness, that when they get thrown out there now, it's not a shock to them, and they're doing really well with the opportunities that they've been given.
Jim, on the subject of Yarrow, and maybe this is kind of getting ahead a little bit, but how do you see him fitting back into a defense that's succeeding?
Playing well, yeah. It's always tough, when the back four is playing well. I think we've given up 2 goals in the last five games, which is solid. 6 games, so yeah. So again, it's good performances. The thing I keep stressing though to the back four, and this involves the center backs, is it's no coincidence. Again, when you look at the tape, when we get ourselves in trouble is when we get stretched out. We're not built to go end to end with teams. No different. The Colorado goal, again, CJ's pressing the goalie, Gooch is at the top of the 18. We're not built to play in games like that. If you look at the Salt Lake goal, literally off of our own attack now, we lose the ball, and we allow a guy to dribble 50, 60 yards uncontested with 0 pressure to it. Fafa's a little slow getting back. Fabi's not high up to continue to press and keep them pinned in. You allow good players time and space, and then all of a sudden now 60 yards later, little 1-2 start to happen, and we're a step late. So the center backs are the key in keeping us compact from front to back. Gooch and Jack have done a really good job of that. It does need to be said, Richie Marquez was part of the start of it too, with the shutout in LA, had the sickness where he lost about 8 pounds and was the odd man out. So again, there's 3 guys that have been playing really well, we're high on. Josh obviously adds that different dimension with the speed back there. So we'll be smart about how we handle it. There was concern and there was a possibility, you know, if Harris was going to have to leave early, you know, we're pretty thin in that middle part of the field defensively, and there was possibly, you know, you could have seen an Elliott play in the 6 role or something like that, and that would have really accelerated Josh. So that's why we wanted to have him up and ready to go, just in case. Or if there's an injury in the coming days, we want to be able to have all our boxes checked in terms of coverage there. So he's going to compete to start, that's for sure. Josh has been a starter for us. The key with him is staying healthy, you know, putting together those 34 games that I always talk about, how valuable it is to have guys that can go all 34, because it's a physical game, it's a demanding season, and you want to have those guys. And Josh is still in the early phases of a career, a very good start to a career, but has had the injuries and then a little, some of them are unlucky, you know, but some of them are also concussions and things that scare you a little bit, the physicality of the league. So happy to have him back. He's worked his tail off to get back, and then he's ready to go now.
I guess when you look at, so for whatever the second half out there was, the back fours, Rosenberry, Richie, Josh, and Wijnaldum, and maybe in January that could have been a likely starting back four. It's maybe not the guys that people have expected to be behind this, guys like Elliott
Right.
and Gooch. I wonder how you kind of manage that, the names and the profiles and all that kind of stuff versus who's playing well, or what some of these guys bring.
Yeah, it's not a name or popularity contest, you know. It's pro sports. So again, there's going to be tough decisions that are made. That's a heck of a back four though that plays with our second group. I would agree with you. There's good players out there. You know, I wouldn't read too much in today's lineup too much. We had a college kid running around out there that actually was pretty impressive. So. You know, it's a group that, yeah, all those guys are starters in the league, and we're starting to get, as we talk about depth and having guys that we can trust, they help in the moments when there is an injury, when there is a national team call-up, when we lose a bunch of guys to the Gold Cup coming up. It's going to be tough, and each guy's going to matter. And again, it's not the name on the back of the jersey, it's about the front. The Philadelphia Union is most important. We'll pick our lineup accordingly. You know, it's good. I do believe, though, if you do go through it now, you know, we've said it, and we're trying to work towards it, but we're getting closer to having those 2 guys that you trust at each spot. You know, each guy's contributed on the back line now in a big way, has been a pro for and played in pro games for a pretty decent stretch, each of them. So those are good problems for coaches to have, but it's competitive, no question about it. And even when I make a change or a tweak, and people could say it's right or wrong, we're able to get results, you know, with little changes. So it's a good situation right now. It's going to be tough keeping them all happy. That's for darn sure with the minutes. But if they have the right mentality with it, when their number's called, they step up. You know, Gooch was in, he was out, now he's back in, and he's done great. Gilly got called upon and was surprised to get called upon, but he stepped up and did a good job against Colorado. Keegan will get another shot for sure to contribute and play. So these are all ongoing things. Ray's answered the bell and done a great job for us as well. Jack Elliott, nobody expected a thing from. He steps up and does good. Richie, you know exactly what you're going to get, and on and on and on. So you could go through each guy. Everyone's contributing, and that's what you need out of defensive spots, and that's helps us get clean sheets.
Jim, to go to Ray and Keegan, is there any change there, and what have you seen from Keegan since the benching that's impressed you at all in training?
Listen, they're both very good right backs in MLS. They're both starting caliber right backs, which is a good problem to have. I've said it before. It's probably our deepest spot. It's our one where, you know, even if I make quote unquote the wrong decision, it could work out right. You know, so from that standpoint, I'm happy with both those guys. You know, Keegan did have a slower start to the year, I thought. And he'll get another opportunity down the road because it's a long 34-game season, and we have a crowded schedule coming up. You know, we have Open Cup, we have a big homestand coming up with, you know, Red Bull, DC, New England. The calendar gets really busy, so everyone's going to be called upon. Ray has done a great job. We don't give up a lot of goals. We haven't given up a ton of chances in recent weeks. But Keegan each and every day in training is pushing as well, just like Ray was when Keegan was starting. So it's healthy, it's normal. But yeah, somebody's not going to be happy at the end of the day. It's tough.
Jim, when you go back to the RSL goal, you're talking about being stretched before that, but at the end, the final movement there is sort of a quick 1-2, and Savarino kind of peels off there, and Gooch and Jack both push up. Is there a proper way for them to play that, or a better way for them to?
Yeah, if it winds up in the back of the net, there's always a better way, So it's one of those ones that we. If you rewind to the beginning of the week, you talk about 1v1. Gel Plata, Savarino, two guys that are a handful 1v1. If you give them time and space to face you and run at you, you're in trouble. And in that situation, it started. It started all the way back in our own attacking part of the field, and now they advance the ball. Luis Silva's obviously involved as well in some of it, but the two of them wind up on the same side of the field, and the interchange that they have. I think Gooch is actually right to step at the moment that he does. He almost gets a piece of it. Could you maybe everybody do a better job of when they do play the ball, I'll say it the right way, putting your body on someone after they play it, just being in that path of where that especially little quick guy wants to run, so he at least has to go around you without getting called for a foul in and around the box. We didn't do great on that part of things, and then the last part, I would say, if Ray just steps at the right moment and trusts the back line, it's offsides. It's a tough one though, because he's thinking, I have to go cheat this maybe for the cross, and maybe I can make a play. At the last ditch, Gooch almost gets a piece of the final cross. There's a million little things that we could break down, but overall, from Fafa's recovery run being kind of at a jog because he's tired, to Fabi not communicating the right way, to turning the wrong way on one of the guys turned his shoulder the wrong way, and we're kind of caught square with little quick guys. It's a handful. So a laundry list of issues, and unfortunately the back four always gets the blame on these moments, but it starts 75 yards from goal, and when we don't have pressure to the ball, we really struggle. That's the fact. Look at every goal we've given up this year. I don't care if you're on Juventus, if you're on Barcelona, if there's no pressure to the ball, the best defenders in the world look like they did on that goal, where it's 1-2s and they're good, skillful players in space, and it's really difficult. But a lot could have been done. Taking even a foul 35, 40 yards from goal is a better option than letting Gel Plata and Savarino face you up, because when they're 1v1, it's tough. There's not defenders in the world that can kind of stay with their quickness other than foul.
Jim, with Warren, Warren coming in for Ali this week, what have you seen from him throughout training?
Excellent. Again, a guy in a similar mindset to Ray, brings it each and every day of training, works his tail off, always fit, never complains, is sharp, competes, fights for every yard and inch in practice. His team always wins in practice. He's a true pro again, and a guy that will be called upon to play this week for sure, and a guy that I have full confidence in. Again, covers as much ground as anybody. Has come into the end of games now for us and closed them out in wins. And again, that destroyer type of midfielder that a lot of the stuff that doesn't show up in the stat sheet, tackles, breaking up plays, intercepting balls, cutting out passing lanes, and also being sharp with the ball and passing and starting our attack. He's done very well. Harris is confident playing with him. They're comfortable together. They train a lot together in practice. So excited for Warren. It's a good spot for him. It's a great field for him too, because it's tiny and there's not a lot of space for teams to hide, because he can really press and run and cover ground. So good situation to have a quality player like Warren ready to go.
You mentioned that New York City FC likes to blow up at the back,
Yeah.
and I recall from the matchup when they came here that Wahlberg really made Pirlo uncomfortable in that first half. At least that's what Patrick Vieira said.
Yeah.
So how key is that for Ilsinho? Should he get the start for number 10 again to make like a Lopez uncomfortable, whoever's in that spot should Pirlo not?
Yeah. So they're probably terms of passing, in terms of when they get going, they're probably the best team in terms of possession in our league right now. Dangerous too. They punish you. So the second you think you have them, they can all of a sudden spring a longer pass and break you down. The kid Ring, for me, is the most underappreciated player. I think he's been the best 11 type player in the league. Again, you talk about dirty work and also quality on the ball. He's been exceptional for them. So again, cutting him out is a key. Not letting him be on the ball a lot in their build-ups. What we did at home against them, it's always different home and away. It's a little more challenging on the road, but in the first 45 minutes, we did make it very uncomfortable for them. We didn't punish them. We turned them over a bunch, but we didn't punish them. And we were not able to sustain it for 90 minutes. We were able to sustain it for about 55, 60 minutes, and we fatigued. So in order to press a team with their quality, you have to be able to sustain it for the entire time. It'll be a real challenge in their building. Obviously they play tonight, so hopefully there's a little bit of tired legs for them. It's an afternoon game, 1 o'clock kickoff. It'll be warm, so a lot of little variables that go into it. But yeah, Patrick Vieira, his team is no secret. They're going to pass out of the back. They're going to build. Last time we handled it a certain way, we'll just say, and then we'll approach it similar. And you have to disrupt them. You can't let them just walk the ball up the field because they have too many quality players that will punish you. If you just make it about they get a chance, we get a chance, they get a chance, we're going to lose. So with David Villa on the field, with Harrison the way he's playing, Rodney Wallace, etc. So they have a really dangerous attacking core, very efficient in front of goal, and we have to be really disciplined and organized to have a shot.
Jim, will Harris move up a little bit? Lawrence defensive.
Yeah, we've discussed that. You could. It's probably safe to say, Harris will be a little more advanced, a little closer to the goal, so he can make that final ball, final pass. Ali and him had a pretty good understanding of sharing the load, taking turns almost, and naturally Ali tilting more to the right, Harris to the left with his left foot. But yeah, with Warren there, Warren is more of a defense first, stay at home kind of midfielder compared to Ali, different skill sets for sure. So yeah, you could see Harrison a little more advanced. He's not going to be running in the box 15, 20 times, but he will be probably a little bit higher up the field, whether that's 5-10 yards, can make a big difference.
Does that tilt happen just because of their natural foot?
You know what? It's crazy. I talked to Ali about it, and I tried to ask him what he saw and felt, but just from watching the film, all his positive touches and actually any negative touches, they all come on the right-hand side. He said it's probably a factor of him playing on the right, obviously as a winger a lot in his career. At Non, he drifted to that side as well because they had ex-striker that he liked to play underneath of. So just habit, but it's amazing. I guess you add in a guy with a good left foot like Harris who naturally drifts to the left. It's just organic, I guess you would put it, instead of it's not by design. Like we haven't really said, Ali, you only stay on this right-hand side, but for whatever reason, all his positive actions and some negative ones come up on the right-hand side. Just kind of has happened, and it's worked. It's been healthy. I think just the comfort level for where he's at.
Anything else here on the board?
Jim, who was the college kid who was out there today?
I'm gonna get people in trouble now.
If you want to.
No, it's not. There's no trouble. He's Notre Dame boy. I just went blank on his last name. No, that's not good. Notre Dame kid, winger, last name. I just went blank on his last name. That's not good. That's bad from the coach. But good player, scored a good goal today, and a kid that anytime you can have in the summer now and come in and get eyes on them right in front of you, you get excited by it. So again, a kid that I think he scored 13 goals last year for Notre Dame. And wasn't expected to get thrown in with the first team in an exhibition today, but just the numbers shook out that way with CJ having a possible toenail removed. So yeah, some good opportunity for the kid, and he actually really impressed.
Anything on the phones for Jim?
It's an Irish name. God, that's going to kill me. Gallagher. That's it. I was going to say, I kept wanting to say Harrison, and it's Gallagher. John. I just talked to the kid for 10 minutes and I just went blank. Sorry, that was a slip by me.
The kid
No, it was John Gallagher. I apologize. I messed up. Irish kid.
Is it just a situation like where you have Connor Maloney in here last year, just playing the first team?
Yeah, it's an opportunity again. Anytime there's a draft coming up, you want to familiarize yourself as best you can. You do a lot of scouting, but the best way to see the kids is up close and personal. Yesterday was his first day in, and he did excellent. He was impressive. So now, today he gets an opportunity by a little bit of fortune because of injuries. We throw him out with the second group, and he did really well. He drew a PK. Should have had a tap in that he missed from 1 yard out. That was almost impossible. But I'm now breaking down the kid, and I forgot his name, so I'll just stop.
Jonathan, go ahead on the phone.
Jim, some reports out of New York that Robbie Wallace and Ronald Matarrita might be gone to Costa Rica camp
That's good.
by the time you guys get up there. Are you preparing for them? I've not seen for
Right.
Sure. Are you preparing for them to be there or not be there? Or?
Yeah, look, it becomes a bit of a guessing game. As soon as I saw the Costa Rica roster come out almost a couple weeks ago, you see those names and you start to at least think maybe they will, maybe they won't be part of our game. Either way, obviously Wallace Matarrita's been injured a little bit. Wallace is a handful and he's playing as well as anybody right now. So yeah, that does probably not help them for sure. But they have a deep team. They have a full squad. They have a deep team and they've had contributions from everybody. But you prepare for their best. But yeah, if those guys aren't involved, I'm not going to be upset. That's for sure, because they're very talented players.
And also, another question I have is with Derek playing so well in under 20,
Yeah.
garnering all these raves from folks who are watching him. You've seen him up close for so long. What is it that makes him, at his age and experience level, so composed?
Yeah, so, I mean, that could be a long discussion. I think you could probably break that back to where he grew up and how he played on the street, where now it is you versus 3 or 4 guys that want to steal the ball and you want to keep the ball and how you protect it. It's a lot different than it is in the main line in an organized league where one kid's on a soccer ball and then no one else is allowed to touch him, So it's just a different upbringing for sure. If you really trace it back to when he was, 4 and 5 years old growing up, he has a comfort level on the ball that is unique. He's brave and sometimes he tries to dribble out of situations where I cringe on the sidelines, but he always bounces out with the ball at his feet. Some guys have that, some guys don't. He's one of them. When he goes into a tackle, the ball always comes out at his feet. Kid Conte at Chelsea is another one. Whenever he goes in to win a ball, to dribble a ball, he always comes out with it. And certain guys have a knack, and you can say it's luck, but it's not. Because I've seen guys that go the other way, that seem to always go into stuff and never come out with the ball. You throw in the size that Derek has, and he's still growing, by the way. He was not eye to eye with me last year, and now he is all of a sudden. He's filling out in terms of muscle. So yeah, when these foreign teams, foreign scouts now see a kid that's all of 6'4", is skillful on the ball, can win tackles, can break plays up, is not nervous, is not rattled by the big moment. I mean, he got thrown in the 30th minute, and it was like if I was just going out to play, with my son. He's confident. He's not nervous. He's brave. He wasn't nervous in Vancouver. He wasn't nervous the next week against Giovinco and Michael Bradley. So again, you can't really teach that. Part of it's youth. Part of it is the way kids grow up now. They're filled with confidence. They're brave. Derek's fearless. I think he's turned a lot of heads. I think it's also disappointing he doesn't get to play now in the biggest game because of silly yellow card rule that I don't agree with in the major competitions all over the world now. 2 yellow cards where you could literally, slow down a restart by standing in front of the ball and say a curse word, and you can now get 2 yellow cards and miss some of the biggest competitions and biggest games in people's careers. So whether it's Champions League, World Cups, Youth World Cups, I think it's way too easy to get suspended in our sport and miss big moments. And you want your best players on the field in the big games. That's my minor rant on that. But Derek's been excellent for the U.S. I think Tab Ramos has done a great job, and that team is playing well. New Zealand's a dangerous team, though. It'll be a tough one, and they're missing some guys. I wish Derek could be in the game. But I know he's turned a lot of heads, and we're not surprised here back in Philadelphia because he is a special player. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so Ray got a little bit in an advanced spot there, but then when it does eventually winds up getting crossed, Fabi's way too deep because if you know on the film, there's the only guy up high. It's one against our two center backs standing in between, and Fabi stays back and makes it a 3v1. It's a wasted body at that stage. If he cheats it, if he anticipates the fact that the ball's coming across, I think Fafa fights for it a little bit, and it pops out. You want to be in a position where you can now at least slow the play down and hopefully end the play, one way or the other, whether it's by winning the ball back or committing a foul in the worst case scenario to stop the play, let us drop and get our shape again. What happens on that one is it's kind of just a little lax by Fafa's reaction as well, because I think he's tired at that stage, and they literally advance the ball at kind of a jog's pace for 65, 70 yards. And you concede that much ground on the road, it's very valuable. So yeah, combination of now Ray and Fabi, when one gets forward, the other has to stay, but they still have to be in a position where if it's safe, if they get a message from their center back to step and end the play, do so. Because in that case, it wasn't a dangerous situation where they had, three guys high waiting against our two center backs. We had plenty of numbers back, even on the goal in the box. We have a heck of a lot of bodies in the box. We do eventually recover, and they're kind of two guys take apart our 5 or 6 guys. So a lot that could have been solved, but it all starts 85 yards from our own goal, where our pressure needs to be right there to end the play as quickly as possible.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.